Hey, it's Eric. Um, I did it again. I completely blanked on plugging my microphone in for the podcast. I guess I just get kind of excited about starting it. I had plenty of time. I got in front of the computer. I got the computer turned on, and I forgot to plug in the mic, and I just kept on talking into the mic. So the whole podcast is the iMac's built-in microphone picking up my voice, and it sounds like I'm in a tin can. So just look past that. Nicole and Rick's voices sound perfect. Um, yeah. So I was just thinking about how lucky we are that people can actually make podcasts, because in other places in the world you're not allowed to, or you can't, and if you do, you're probably in jail and will never see daylight again. So I was reading. There's a really cool daily email that is very politically neutral called 1440 or 1440 Digest. You can go to join1440.com, join1440.com to sign up. I'll put it in the show notes here. But at the bottom, they always have a quote. And I like this one really well. It's from Christopher Reeve, and this applies to all of us. He says, I think a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. The overwhelming obstacle in my life is my own brain. And that's not great, but a lot of other people have a lot bigger obstacles. So if you want to start a podcast, let's talk. I'll tell you how to do it. Don't overthink it. Just start. That's the biggest advice I have. All right, here we go. Hey, welcome to Garden Fork Radio. Thanks for downloading the show. It's eclectic DIY. Today you have the triple threat of Nicole, Rick, and Eric. We're going to talk more about pizza and Carhartt overalls and stuff like that. So welcome, guys.
Good morning, my friend.
So let's just go right into it. Nicole and I were talking about if her family wanted to get a dog, and I said that a lab or a lab mix is great. They do need to be exercised, and that makes you exercise, but stick with a yellow lab or a black lab, or like a mix of a lab and an Australian Shepherd or something. Do not get a red lab or a gray lab, because these are these new colors. This is my opinion. I'm not an expert. It's just my opinion. They're nutty, and I think they're overbred. So,
Wait, I thought the one that was red had a different name. Like it was a...
Well, now there's a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, which is kind of red, but it has a wavy coat.
yes.
Oh, no, I must be talking about a completely different dog that has like slightly longer red hair.
That's a different dog, yeah.
Okay.
But I have friends that have both these kind of labs, and it's just not a good thing.
Get a Mutt.
Yep.
I swear. I have a bone to pick with the AKC, the American Kennel Club, but going after the way a dog looks continually, they're always talking about these big categories, working dogs and all these dogs by jobs. But then they never test them on them. It's all how they look, how they conform.
Yeah.
And they have ruined, more good breeds have been ruined by overbreeding to get that look instead of what the dog actually does. And I'm all for dogs that have a job and are excellent at it. My little terriers, my Cairn Terriers, I send them into a wood pile. Brush pile, and they have the best time rooting out rats and doing all kinds of things, and they're a joy to have around. But they're a terrier, and they tear ground, and so they're always doing stuff, digging, looking around, trying to chase down a rodent of some sort. So it's always does my heart good to see that. But when dogs are tried just on the way they look, bad things happen. Those weird hips on German Shepherds.
Yep.
Uh, I'd say Irish setters. Boy,
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
yeah,
Irish setters that are
yeah,
red.
and they had just bred the brains out of that dog. I think
Yeah, and
Well,
Dalmatians.
Dalmatians. Yeah,
Aw.
and of course they have that hearing problem. They a lot
They
of them
go
are
deaf.
deaf. Yeah.
I sent Rick a video the other day. I was at this place in DC called Union Market. It's like one of those food hall situations. And this dog was magnetic. I had to like go see the dog. I had to tell people about the dog. So the guy comes out. He should not have left the dog out there. That dog was prime stealing,
Yeah.
like that. And I was like, "What kind of dog is this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a micro Bernedoodle." And I was telling somebody else about that, and they were like, "Well, how does that happen?" And I was like, "Science. There's no other way that's happening. That's weird."
A lot of it happens the old-fashioned way, and you just wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it.
All right, let's
God.
move on. Let's talk about pizza.
Okay.
Okay, I love pizza.
I love pizza too. I'd say it's my favorite food.
So I've been on a pizza bender for a while here, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with a website and YouTube channel called Chef Steps, like stair steps, Chef Steps.
Nope.
They're actual chefs. They're either in Portland or Seattle, I think. They have these great videos about how to make restaurant quality food, but it's also comfort food. You know, they talk about like French fries or burgers, and they have this great energy. And they built this incredibly simple brick and concrete paver oven that has been in the back of my mind to build for years. And I finally built one this weekend. And I built it wrong. It was a failure, but
Oh,
I'm close to having the Eric version of this.
Wait, did the pizza not come out? Like what? How did it fail?
I used the wrong kind of wood, and I didn't get the oven up to a good enough temperature to make it work the way it should. And I changed the design a little, and that was a mistake on my part. So,
oh, really? And I was bragging on. I thought it was a brilliant design.
well, that is what the picture I sent is, yes.
Oh,
But,
okay.
but I had an aha moment while I was doing this because I use store-bought dough, and I can never remember to make dough the day before, and you're supposed to have your stand mixer and all that. So there are videos online about making dough without the stand mixer, which I love. And then I also learned whenever I go and bought the store-bought dough, I would come home that afternoon with the dough and then try and stretch it to make pizzas, and it would never stretch out. And all the answers are like, oh, just let it rest for a minute, and that does nothing. So on YouTube, I found a guy who's like, if you have refrigerated dough or store dough, you form it into little balls in the morning and then put it in a bowl with a little olive oil and let it sit 6 to 8 hours. And then it will stretch quite nicely.
Oh, so you have to let it warm up to at least room temperature and regrow a little bit. Let the little yeasties.
Right. It's called proofing. So that was a big eye opener for me. And then you can stretch it to about 10 inches. I had a 1 pound bag. I think it was a 1 pound. Then I cut it to 4 pieces. And then you can stretch it into about a 10-inch. And then when you put it on the peel, a stainless steel peel is better, I've discovered. You stretch it again, and then you put it in the oven. So you've got a 12-inch pizza. And that was like, so I'm trying to do that and show how to build the Chef Steps oven in one video. So.
Okay, so did you actually try making pizza this weekend with this
Yeah.
oven? Okay, and so did the pizza fail or did the oven fail?
Well, both. The pizza did not cook right, and the oven did not fire up right. I rushed the whole thing, and so I didn't. I was shooting some video, and I'm like, I don't want to show this. I want to do it right.
Okay. Well, I look forward to this.
Yeah, I'm going to build it again this weekend. The pavers are 50 pounds each, and you use 2 of them. And I put them on myself, and I should not have done that because I felt the nerve that goes through my spine into my hip start to tingle, and I'm like, oh, that's a bad sign. So
Yeah, no, that's not
that's
good.
the nerve that was operated on. So I don't want to hurt that. So I have a friend of mine who's about 6'5", and he exercises with 50-pound dumbbells. So he's my perfect slate helper.
And he'll probably like pizza too.
He's a chef. Yeah. So he'll like that.
So my big pizza hack that I've like figured out and using, I just get the Trader Joe's dough, is instead of oiling the pan, because I have to do mine in the oven, using butter.
Ooh.
It somehow the viscosity allows the dough to stick to it, so it'll stay stretched out.
Wow. I
Huh.
wonder if that's because there's water in that butter.
I don't know, but it's been very helpful because it's very frustrating when you're stretching it and it keeps shrinking.
Yeah, people are big fans of the Trader Joe pizza dough. I saw that online as well. Huh.
Oh, you haven't tried it? How far is the Trader Joe's from the new house?
It's in Carroll Gardens, so if anyone's familiar with Brooklyn, that would be down Atlantic Avenue, and you make the right turn to get on the Brooklyn Bridge there. And the old prison, they knocked down the prison, they're putting in a condo tower. It's near the courthouses, basically. Atlantic Avenue and Court Street. And then there's another one on Flatbush Avenue near DeKalb. So it's a subway ride for me. And the people in Trader Joe's around here are manic, so I'd rather not go there.
Oh, really? So that's all the only place we're like full-time Trader Joe's shoppers at this point between Trader Joe's and Costco. The thing that they have at Trader Joe's that we've just discovered is mint chocolate chip ice cream that's
Oh,
like
jeez.
premium.
Ooh.
Excellent. Yeah.
The Wirecutter podcast, which is the New York Times product review site podcast, did a whole show about Trader Joe's. So just type in New York Times Wirecutter podcast Trader Joe, and it will show up.
I'm totally they're a target audience.
But I would like to, I did a video about the Uni oven, which I posted on the Garden Fork YouTube channel.
No, that's a commercial one you can buy, right?
Right. It's very well made. It's gas fired, or you can use wood pellets. It depends on the model. Or you can get a hybrid that uses wood pellets or gas. My friend had the propane one, and I could immediately see the benefits of that because you don't have to go get wood pellets. You don't have to coax the wood pellets into burning, and you just fire up the gas and you let it heat up for like 10 minutes. And it makes a really, really good pizza. But it's $400. It's $300 or $400. But it's a well-made machine, basically. But being Curious Eric, they make there are companies on Amazon that have cloned it, and there's one for like $100 or maybe $150, which is tempting. But I realize I don't make pizza every other week because the camera operator we don't eat a lot of white bread dough kind of stuff, and we don't eat a lot of cheese either. So I'm going to stick with my brick ovens and my barrel oven because of the novelty and the process. I love the process, basically.
Okay, I'm super excited. There's one for sale, a gas one, because
Oh, don't tell him
Eric
that.
told me to get the gas one for $200 on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
So fun. Oh, we're selling our beloved Uni pizza oven.
Beloved.
I know. It's like, I feel bad that they have to sell it. Sorry, guys. Maybe they had a new one or something. Brent's going to laugh when he sees the pizza oven outside. He's going to wish he listened to our podcast.
That's right. Is Brent working from home? Is that it?
Yeah, he's working from home. If the video was on, you guys would see, maybe you'll see in the picture, he sits behind me. Years and years ago, before when I just wanted to date Brent, I showed up in DC, and I had an internship with our senator, and I got there early that day, and the woman says to me, well, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from Kalispell. And she's like, oh, the guy's desk that you're sitting in right now is from Kalispell. And I was like, oh, who's that? And she's like, Brent Lattin. And Brent was my high school crush. This is not new news. And I was like, oh my gosh, Brent Lattin's here. And so I think Brent got to work and was like, are you kidding me? I cannot believe this. But back when we worked for the senator, it was early days of email, like we're talking 1998. And we were sitting at our desks like right next to each other, and I would email him, and he was like, why are you emailing me? I'm right here. Just say it to me. And so now it's maybe his worst nightmare to be sitting here with me. I still email him, but it's more like to-do lists.
Ah. Rick, would you click on the Chrome browser window? It says it's not focused.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's not focused. I'm focused now.
Okay, you're focused now,
I'm
too.
focused.
So the other day, Nicole, you texted me and asked what size overalls I wear.
And what I like about Eric is he didn't question why I was asking. He just wrote me back. Here's the answer. So I'm at the thrift and there's a pair of Carhartt overalls. And you guys have gone on and on about these Carhartt overalls. So I picked them up. I think I paid $12 for them after my 20% off coupon. And I sold them that day for $70.
Wow.
Where'd you sell them for 70?
On Poshmark.
Oh yeah, that's your site. That's the app you use. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, although I'm moving away a little bit from Poshmark, eBay I think is more, I don't know, more lucrative these days. Poshmark they're trying to make it into this like social. I don't want to be social. Do you want the Carhartts or not? I don't want to.
It's getting hard to find good Carhartt. They make different levels of clothing, and their latest lines are not nearly as good as the older work clothes that they were turning out. And so, yeah, that stuff's kind of go up. I have no idea what's going on with Carhartt. They are abandoning those of us who really love their top line stuff.
Well, along those lines, I found another pair of Dickies that are wool pants. They almost look like they're, made to look like they're from the 20s. They've got a button up. They're button ups.
Yeah.
And I thought that they would sell quickly too, but I must not have it properly labeled or something. But I feel like Dickies, you can still find, they're still making the same stuff. Am I wrong?
I think so.
Dickies got bought by a company because in the label it says Dickies, a blah, blah, blah company. The overalls I bought from Dickie overalls on Amazon, which were on sale for $40, they're a lightweight summer overall. And I've worn them for like, I don't know, maybe a week total. And they seem well constructed, but it is a lighter denim. That might be on purpose. But I've just I don't own any Dickie clothing other than that. It's just I've always had Carhartt and I've always had their contractor weight clothing. So
yeah, I just like the feel. The shirt I have on right now, which you cannot see in the video, is a heavy kind of canvas, almost. It is almost a canvas, and I just love the feel of it.
Huh. Well, now I want to see. Just for full disclosure, they were not Eric's size.
Okay.
I would have popped them in the mail.
And then you had something about one of your purchases of a purse.
So the other day, I'm at the thrift because I go every day. Let's just not be kidding. And I see this bag, and there's this thing called a kiss lock, which is like where the purse squeezes together and has like a metal clasp. And there's this one famous designer who worked for Coach who made a lot of these bags. But this one was a little bit different. It didn't have a zipper on the top. I've become very adept at identifying old leather Coach bags because that's what I'm into. I'm into restoring the leather bags and doing all the stuff to make it look like it's new. So I grabbed this bag at $6 and then I proceed to use Google image search. I can't quite find the exact bag. So what do? I go to the expert, the AI expert that I know, Rick. And I'm like, Rick, look, I know what the AI needs to help me with. I just need you to help me. So years ago, my grandmother would not get a computer, but she knew how to work the computer. She would call me and say, can you search this up? So that's exactly what I did. So Rick totally helped me figure out the bag with AI.
Figured out what the model and maker is?
Yeah, we think it's a Bonnie Cashin bag. The original bags were called Cash and Carries for Coach. I think this one is pre-Coach. I think this is one of her very earliest bags, and according to what's it called? Proximity?
Provenance.
No, the AI that you were
Oh,
using.
I'm just using GTP.
Oh, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But what Rick does that's so smart is he has very clear instructions for the AI, standard instructions that he gives the AI before he gives it the query. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. You can prevent a lot of the things people complain about with AI by giving it a standard set of instructions at the beginning. They would say things like, "Do not hallucinate. Don't say anything if you don't know something. Give me, citations for everything you quote. If you have an opinion, that's fine, but tell me what that opinion. Highlight it or make it bold, so I'll know it's not exactly on the up and up. All those things, so that you can limit it hallucinating. And we just managed to find some really good stuff for Nicole.
Yeah, so he was able to find like the Fashion Institute, the FIT in New York, had a show of her work, and it found a link to a bag that was very similar. And so, I don't actually. It thinks that it's worth between like $400 and like $1,100, with the average value being $738. So I put it on Poshmark for $800 just to see. I don't know. Maybe somebody will buy it.
Yeah.
You can always lower the price. Yeah.
You can always look. And so my only weird thing is about putting it on eBay, which would have a wider audience, and I think I will do it, is I don't want to get in trouble for selling a fake bag
Yes.
because it does not have any labels on it. And I think as long as you're clear and upfront that like, and I am in the Poshmark listing, like this is based on my research, here's the sources, here's the links, here's the reasons, and there are people out there who are absolutely experts on
Yes.
her bags.
Well,
So-
and you can actually have that appraised by the Coach Institute? There is a group for everything, isn't there? There is an institute that appraises that stuff, and
Right.
so you could have that done. I don't know if you have to send it to them or are they just going to work from pictures, but if you had that, it could really help.
Yeah, if I had the thing. Of course, you have to pay for that.
I have a
Well-
tangent from that.
You only have
Yes.
$6 in this bag. I think we need to say that. And so
You need to remember.
if you need to pay $25 or something to have the people appraise your bag and give you a letter of authenticity, maybe you should think about that.
The return on investment's solid on that.
Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree. So what were we going to say?
So there is, because of so much counterfeit artwork that is flooding the market, and some of it looks amazingly like the originals, like Basquiat's or Warhol's. These foundations, the Warhol Foundation, the Basquiat Foundation, the Pollock Krasner, I don't know it's called foundation, they will no longer I don't know the word is appraise or validate or certify that the Jackson Pollock you found in the basement is a real Jackson Pollock, because of they've got it wrong sometimes, and there's been lawsuit about that.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
And there's a great a documentary on Netflix called "Made You Look: A True Story About Fake Art." And this very respected Upper East Side art gallery was buying some amazing Gustav Klimts and things like that. And they had several experts say, "Yeah, these are the real deal." And they sold them for millions and millions of dollars. And then the people that bought them discovered that they were fakes, and there were lawsuits. And the woman who ran the gallery was just crushed, professionally. And there still seem to be fighting about it today. But it's a really great documentary. It's called "Made You Look." So I don't know if like Coach or Dior or Versace will I don't know if the word is validate, but confirm that the purse you have or the item you have is one of theirs anymore.
Yeah, I think it's called authentication.
Good.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I have another bag that's an incredibly well-made leather bag, but it does not have the Coach. It doesn't even. They're not even pretending. They didn't even put the Coach insignia on the inside. But so then that led me down the rabbit hole. Or is it ever possible that a Coach bag could be produced without the leather insignia? Because the bag seems just like a. So I guess I'm just gonna post it as like a nice leather bag. Would you like to buy a nice leather bag?
Well, I
Yeah.
would. I would try. I mean, you could say, this is my information, and to the best of my knowledge, this really seems to be what's her name,
Bonnie Cashin.
Bonnie Cashin bag.
Mhm.
But I would go ahead and have it authenticated at least, and get that letter from the Coach people if they're still doing it. And they say, this appears to be. I mean, they're not going to say absolutely, I'm sure.
Right, right. Yeah, I definitely my only concern with doing it with there is because I think it was made before she worked for Coach, so I'm not sure that they'll authenticate one that was before she was working
But
for
even
them.
that's
But
even
it's
that's useful. See
right.
that's early. You can see the development of her bags as a designer, and
Right.
before she actually got picked up, and Coach, said, "Wow, look at this. We need to talk to this woman."
Well, that's the thing in the AI research that nailed it down for me was they said that there was one in the that exhibit from 1967, which is before she worked for Coach, that looks just like the bag. So I was like, oh, okay. So this really could be like one of her prototypes or one of her very, and who knows how it ended up at my thrift store. That's the other
Yeah,
thing that's always
because
interesting. But
if you can't own a Picasso, I mean a finished Picasso, people actually are spending a lot more money now on his early drawings and where he's sketching in his ideas but not completing them and that kind of thing.
mhm.
How he developed as an artist, and you're seeing that with all kinds of art. So I'd say that's probably a good bet.
Well, this is like a brief tangent, but one of my good friends in Germany, his name is Malte Herwig. He's a author, and he wrote a book with Pablo Picasso's muse, Françoise Gillot. She just died 2 years ago, and she was an artist in her own right. And the book is called "The Woman Who Says No," um, and the book is very it's a great book, very fun, very interesting, all about Picasso and their relationship and her life and her art. But now he has started doing a podcast about because his genre is the interview. He does a ton of interviews in German in the German press in German, but he's also fluent in English. And his new podcast, he uses AI interviewers to interview him about his past podcasts.
Oh,
Wow.
well,
So
well,
when I don't have a guest for the podcast, I could use AI.
Oh yeah, you could totally use AI.
Oh wow.
And the podcast has such a cute name. It was like and it is also the name is also genius because it's at the top of the list of everybody's, podcast list because the name of it is AI, the art of the interview.
oh, yeah, yeah. I have actually become. Well, I've never been a big fan of AI. I mean, people have overhyped this tremendously and what it's able to do. But the the I can't. The train left without me. I've lost my train of thought.
We were talking about AI and
Yeah,
overhype and what it can do.
yeah. The AI is ruining like YouTube. I am running into more and more and more AI generated stuff on YouTube and AI slop,
Yeah.
literally. And in writing, I'm seeing a lot of obviously AI stuff just on web pages just being thrown up continually. That you read it and it doesn't make any sense at all. It makes grammatical sense, but then it doesn't hold together with internal logic. And they're beginning to see. I sent Nicole an article from Slate that, or no, it was in 404 Media about how people are finding that cleaning up after AI is more time consuming than doing it yourself the first time. And then they've got all these people who are creating material, sending it to their bosses. The bosses are having to clean it up and beginning to really resent the people sending them stuff because they're just doing it so easily and not putting in any work at all.
And what it was, the term of art they chose was work slop.
Work
Right?
slop, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So, it's like everything else. There was a ton of hype around when I was still, obviously I was still in the Navy. Back during the our initial internet boom, and all these guys, we're computer people, we're doing surveillance and all kinds of reconnaissance. Oops, I ruined your family perfect.
I have it marked.
Okay, but the all these guys going out the door said, I'm going to go. I work in the new tech bubble or tech field and turning out internet stuff and making web pages. I'm going to be make millions. And 6 months later, a year later, I see them selling used cars down some lot because it was so much hype and it blew up so quick, and then it just left them all down. And of course, they instead of doing that on the side, they quit their military career to run off and do follow that dream, which led them nowhere.
Yeah, my nephew was kind of feeling down. He's studying computer science, he was feeling a little down about his ability to get a job when he finally has his degree and, kind of all those things. And I said, actually, you have to remember your superpower has really nothing to do with
The degree, yeah.
coding. It has to do with being able to solve problems. And there's always going to be a market for somebody who can fix things.
Sure.
Speaking of which, everyone, my nephew just graduated college with a computer science degree, and he lives in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. I think he's a genius level kid, and he's creative as an artist as well as a programmer. He can do 3D printing, all sorts of stuff. So if you might have a job for him, email me.
Yeah.
radio@gardenfork.tv.
Yeah, that is kind of the conundrum, though. We for several years now we've been saying STEM: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And so you look down the road, you say, okay, computer science it is, and you throw yourself into that for 4 years, and even before you can get to the end of the road now. That whole landscape has changed. And it's got to be pretty terrifying to be somebody looking as a freshman or a graduating senior in high school, looking down the road and saying, well, exactly what will pay off and be worthwhile. I still say there's tremendous value in just becoming an educated person.
Yeah.
Liberal arts degree.
Yeah. I've lived, history and literature were my two majors. And I have managed to implement all that stuff on a regular basis on everything I do. So, it's important to be an educated person, whether or not your specific degree leads to a quote job or not.
Well, speaking of which,
Yes.
the other day, I get a wonderful video from my dear friend Rick, and it in the back is a cauldron brewing,
Oh, jeez.
and he proceeds to quote Shakespeare to us. I can we post the video, Rick? It was so good.
Oh, sure. I'm looking in the wrong end of the camera, but other than that, yeah.
It was so fun because I sent him coffee on dry ice, and so he made the cauldron out of the dry ice.
Yeah, and round
Wow.
about the cauldron go, and the poisoned entrails throw. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burning, cauldron bubble. Fillet of finny snake in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt, toe of frog, wool of bat, tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blindworm sting, lizard's legs and howlet's wings, for a brew of double trouble. Like a hell broth boiling bubble, double, double, toil and trouble, fire burning, cauldron bubble. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Wow. So we're going to take this video and we're going to put it on the Garden Fork Patreon page. I keep forgetting to mention about Patreon and Eric is there are different levels of interaction, I guess is better word. When you go to Patreon, you go to the Garden Fork site and you want to look at stuff, you follow me, kind of like follow on Instagram. All you do is sign up, you give them a password, and you can see I make some stuff for all people that are following me, and then I make some exclusive stuff for the paid members, which is, the after show and stuff like that. So this, if you want, that'll kind of give you a taste of what Patreon is like. So I'll do that. But I have something completely off tangent. If you would like to hear it before we close the show.
Yes, let's do it.
As I've talked before, I've been going through and finding these recurring memberships and charges that I have, and not turning them all off. And Ancestry is one that I was tinkering with our family tree, and then I got an email they were going to renew it, and it was $238.
Ooh.
And I set a reminder to do it, and then I got really sick. It wasn't COVID, but it was that thing that knocks you flat. And I missed the day because I was sick. And so I emailed Ancestry, and we went back and forth for a month. And I felt like I wasn't really getting through to anyone. They kept on asking for this information. I kept on sending it. And I was wondering whether I was dealing with a bot or an AI or whatever. So because I used PayPal to set up the bi-monthly or yearly payment, I went to PayPal and I said, I have a problem with a merchant. And I explained what happened. I said I was sick. I've reached out to them. I have all this document, and you can upload all the documentation, and I think you get 3,000 words or something to explain the issue. And a week later, I had the refund.
Wow.
So you have to do your due diligence. You have to try. But if you have the option of using PayPal or perhaps your credit card, like a Visa or MasterCard, I know they have called the grievance process as well. But PayPal has saved me. I don't know if the word is saved me, but helped me greatly twice now. And I think that's really great.
I have a similar problem. I'll sign up for something. They make you sign up for the paid one on the trial,
Right.
But they make you sign, and then you forget to cancel the trial and all that stuff. But one of the things I've done, and it really helps protect us as a family, is I expire both of our credit cards every year.
Yes, yeah, that's
And
good.
so all these things that automatically renew, they hit an old credit card, and they'll send me a few emails saying, "Hey, we can't get into your account to charge you again." I said, "Well, that's intentional," but that way I don't have to really figure it out that much. If something pops up, I make them do the work. If something pops up that I don't want anymore, I ignore them. If something pops up that I do want to keep, then I'll go in and put a new credit card for them. And that puts the load on them, takes it off of me. Of course, it also means you have to, deal with getting a new credit card and getting all that stuff set up. But it's not a bad system, I don't think.
That's a good way to go about it. Yeah.
And also, it increases the security because your card number expires relatively quickly. I mean, most of them expire after 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Cool. So we have a huge show here. This is, I only have to edit out 2 things that Rick said, so that's a record.
I will try to be back, by the way. She Who Must Be Obeyed was having some health issues, nothing major, but it was quite distracting. And so I'm back. I'm sorry I missed Bob.
He'll be back. He's great.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, but if you don't want to use Ancestry, Bob told us all about FamilySearch.org, which is the Church of the Latter-day Saints free genealogy website. It's the Mormon free genealogy website. He traces ancestors back to the 1400s or something like that.
I'm with Abraham Lincoln when somebody asked him about who his family was. And he says, I'm less concerned with who my grandfather was than who his grandson will become.
There you go.
So
Love that.
So I like that. And mostly all I find out is when I did that, did the spit test and everything. And mostly people contacted me, and I kind of felt like they wanted money, but I don't know.
That was not my experience, but anyway. All right,
Cool.
In the after show, we're going to talk about me buying a new set of tires for my electric car, and that involves a lot more than just buying tires for a gas car.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear about this.
All right. Thank you, everyone. If you have any thoughts, it's radio@gardenfork.tv. And see you next week. Thank you.
Garden Fork Radio is produced by Garden Fork Media LLC in Brooklyn, New York. The music in the show is licensed from audioblocks.com and uniquetracks.com.